This is Jeopardy! Please welcome our contestants. Player 1. Player 2. Player 3. And now, here is the host of Jeopardy, Alex Trevette.
Thank you, Johnny Gilbert, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Let's take you right now into the Jeopardy round. Clues are worth $200 to $1,000 in these categories: TV MDs, American history, business and industry, elementary, banned books, and Inti Fresh. Where do we begin, Player 1? This famous transaction in 1803 doubled the territory of the U.S. Okay, Player 1.
Yeah!
Right. In the 1760s, he and Charles Mason used milestones to mark the boundary line between Maryland and Pennsylvania. Let's hear it, Player 1.
Yeah!
The Watergate scandal led to the resignation of this U.S. president in 1974. Yes, Player 1? Yep. In the 1830s, some 4,000 members of this Indian tribe died during a forced march known as the Trail of Tears. It's Player 1. Right. Answer. It's the Daily Double. And you have... All right, here's your clue. Reconstruction refers to the period of readjustment and rebuilding after this war. That puts you even further ahead. Select again. This story was banned in California because the heroine was bringing wine as well as food to her grandma. Let's hear it, Player 1. That's correct. In 1929, Italy banned his Call of the Wild, and Yugoslavia banned all of his books as being too radical. Okay, Player 1. Right. Predictably, in 1967, Lysistrata by Aristophanes was banned in this country then controlled by a military junta. Yes, Player 1? No. Anyone else? Here's the correct response. Greece. Player 1. England indicted this supporter of the Revolutionary War for his rights of man. His publisher was prosecuted. Let's hear it, Player 1. Sorry. That's incorrect. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Okay, Player 3. You are correct. A lot of clues, a lot of categories, Player 3. The Bible tells us of this element being beaten into plates, cut into wires, and worked into the clothing worn by Aaron. Let's hear it, Player 1. Any other takers? Here's the correct response. Gold. Player 3, choose again. Pu. But this element, 238, doesn't stink. It powers pacemakers. Player 1? Hey, you're right. Okay. I know Bernard Courtois discovered this element in 1811. Let's hear it, Player 1. Correct. The Kennedy Space Center has used this gas, atomic number 54, in high-intensity lights for night landings. Player 1? That's not it. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Here's what we were looking for. Xenon. This ductile, non-radioactive element has an atomic weight of 26.98. Yes, Player 1? Sorry, that's wrong. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? It's Player 2. Yes. Player 2, you start. In Forbes magazine's 2010 list of billionaires, this Omahan was number 3, behind Carlos Slim and Bill Gates. Okay, Player 1. That's it. In 1990, United Brands changed its name to this, to take advantage of its name recognition as a banana producer. Yes, Player 1? That is correct. Player 1? Legend has it that the design of this company's Monsieur Bibendum logo was inspired by a pile of rubber tires. It's Player 1. Good. And I'll hand it off to Kelly.
Named for the implication that it brought some rationality to an exuberant market, it's a downward move by generally rising prices.
Let's hear it, Player 1. No, that's not right. Any other takers? Yes, Player 2. Sorry, that's wrong. Any other takers? Okay, Player 3. Hey, you're right. Player 3, where do we start? In 1978, he was fired as the president of Ford, only to become the new president of Chrysler. Let's hear it, Player 1. Right. Player 1. Viola's cross-dressing in this Shakespeare play ran afoul of a New Hampshire prohibition of Alternative Lifestyle Act. Let's hear it, Player 1. You got it.
Yeah! Woo!
Player 1. Cue or die. Okay, Player 1. Good for you.
Yeah! Woo!
A thin piece of rigid material to maintain a body part in a fixed position. Player 1. Good. A short race at full speed. Let's hear it, Player 1. That's correct. Player 1. Five-letter word for gleaming brightness or luster. Okay, Player 1. Yes. Player 1. To look with the eyes partly closed. Yes, Player 1.
Yeah!
Right you are. You get to... J.D., Turk, and Dr. Cox have practiced on this series. Let's hear it, Player 1. Good.
Yeah!
Maria Bello and Sherry Stringfield are among the many who doctored up this long-running NBC show. Okay, Player 1. Yes. Player 1. Doctors Lisa Cuddy and Allison Cameron have roamed Princeton Plainsboro Hospital with this acerbic title doc. Player 1. You got it. Dr. Kavanaugh, the first name would give things away, was a Boston M.E. with a checkered past on this drama. Yes, Player 1. You got it. And now the $1,000 clue. We dig forensic anthropologist Dr. Temperance Brennan on this Fox drama. Let's hear it, Player 1. Yep. Okay, we have Player 2 in third place, which means that Player 2 will go first in the Double Jeopardy round. And we have 2 daily doubles awaiting you in these categories. Get positive. Poets. Panhandling. TV math. The 15th century. And anatomy and medicine. Player 2, where do we start? The book Whale Done applies the positive techniques used at this marine park to business and family life. It's Player 1.
Yeah!
Right. Player 1. Thriving through stress, like him conducting Ode to Joy while ill, is the idea in a book called The Him Factor. Okay, Player 1.
Yeah!
You got it. Answer? One of the daily doubles. You are in the lead. Answer this. His power of positive thinking begins, believe in yourself. Have faith in your abilities. You have maintained your lead. Here you go. Player An illustrated book pairs Alexander Calder's artwork with the lyrics to his song, Don't Worry, Be Happy. It's Player 1. That's it. Player
Oprah
one has unlocked the This, a book by Rhonda Byrne about using positive visualization. Player one, any other takers? Here's what we wanted. Secret. Player one, back to you for our next song. It's a network of nerves, like the solar one. Let's hear it, player one. That's right, way to go. Player one, nephrology is a medical specialty concerned with these organs. Yes, player one? Oh, good. It's also called the auditory tube, and when it's blocked, an earache can result. Yes, player one? That's right, way to go. From the Greek for bad mold, it's an abnormal growth of tissue or bone. Dogs get it in their hips. It's player one. Right. These 5 bones make up the palm of the hand. It's player one.
Yeah!
That's correct. You get to pick again, player one. On July 3rd, 1450, peasant leader Jack Cade entered this capital in triumph. By July 12th, he was dead. Yes, player one? Yes. Player one. A rebellion of his brothers Andrei and Boris was stopped by this ruler the third. Come on, how many Russian names are left? Let's hear it, player one. Correct. Answer. The other Daily Double. You are in the lead right now. Player one, give us a wager. Here is your clue. This Portuguese prince wasn't just about exploration. He and his brother Fernando tried to conquer Tangier and failed miserably. You are still in first place, though. Here's what we were looking for. Henry the Navigator. Player one. In 1453, the last Byzantine emperor, the 11th of this name, died in the vain defense of his city. It's player one. Good. A masterpiece of illumination is the circa 1415 book Les Très Riches Heures du This Duke. Yes, player one? Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Here's what we were looking for. The Duc de Berry. You again, player one. In 1508, Dutch author Desiderius Erasmus first used her name with box instead of the traditional vase or jar. Player one?
Yeah!
Hey, you're right. Cure-all. Let's hear it, player one. These wide trousers, extending from the waist to the ankles, were popular in late 17th century England. Yes, player one? That's right, way to go.
Yeah! Woo!
A long, slender cigar. Player one? That's it. It's a sentence using all letters of the alphabet, such as, "Watch Jeopardy! Alex Trebek's fun TV quiz game." Let's hear it, player one. Right you are. We return. A poem by this American begins, "When lilacs last in the dooryard bloomed." It's player one. Sorry. Anyone else? Here's the correct response. Walt Whitman. Here's Sarah from our Clue Crew with the clue.
Many of the poems of Federico Garcia Lorca have been adapted for this Spanish art form that combines guitar, song, and dance.
Player one? Right. His love song of J. Alfred Prufrock says, "In the room the women come and go, talking of Michelangelo." It's player one. No, that's not right. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? We're talking about T.S. Eliot. Player one. Richard Cory. "A gentleman from soul to crown, in a poem by this man, put a bullet through his head." Let's hear it, player one. No. Any other takers? We're talking about Edwin Arlington Robinson. Funeral Blues by this British poet begins, "Stop all the clocks, cut off the telephone." Player one? That is correct. Player one. Fred McMurray's Title Sons minus Paul Reiser's Title Dads. Let's hear it, player one.
Yeah!
You get to Colonel Steve Austin's Title Worth, plus the amount of title days at a time for Bonnie Franklin. Let's hear it, player one. Yes. Player John one. Ritter's sitcom Simple Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter times John Ritter's sitcom Company. It's player one. That's correct. Player one. Careful. Tina Fey's Title Rock minus Ashton Kutcher's Title Men. Let's hear it, player one. Yes. Now let's take a look at that $2,000 clue, shall we? Hawkeye's unit number in MASH plus John Lithgow's title Rock from the Sun. Let's hear it, player one. Yes. I'll see you all for Final Jeopardy in just a moment. Everything depends on Final Jeopardy, of course, so let's take a look at the category, shall we? Landmarks. So, what's your wager? Here's the clue for you. The landmark site known to the Lakota as Six Grandfathers was renamed this after a prominent lawyer. Let's see your response. And this correct response will add how much to your score? What did you put as your response? And this correct response will add how much to your score? And your response? Sorry, that incorrect response will drop your score by... This makes you our new champion, Player One, so congratulations. Thanks for playing. We'll see you next time.